Now, once the exploration target has been identified, core drilling can now begin. So we just carry it out to extract cylindrical rock samples. So what we call the core sample is just some cylindrical rock samples that are obtained during the drilling process. And so we make use of diamond drilling rigs to obtain these cylindrical rock samples. And that is what we call the core samples. Okay, they are obtained from the subsurface and they serve as our samples from which we will analyze in the lab to obtain information about the area. Okay, the core samples are then analyzed in the lab to determine the mineralogy, the structure, the rock structure, and the composition of the rock, and also to assess the potential for mineralization. Now, the results obtained from the rock analysis are then used to create geological models. In the mines, we have two types of models. We have the resource model, and we also have the grade control model. The resource model is when is the initial model which is being generated by geologists after they are done with the exploration drilling. Okay, so the initial information they get, they use it to generate a resource model. And a resource model is not a detailed model because sometimes the distances between the distances between the drill holes can be widely apart. Sometimes it can be 50 meters apart. But the grade control model, in this case, the distances between the drill holes has been shortened. They can make it 10 meters apart from each other. So that means that there is more detailed, we will get more detailed information in the grade control models than the resource model. Okay. But the resource model is very, very important because it gives us an initial overview of how the rock model look like within that area. Then when it is time for us to engage in mining, proper mining, then we do the grade control model. With the grade control model, it helps us to know the grade of the various small blocks that has been generated within the model. Okay, so within every 10 meters, we can generate a block and be able to know the grade, the overall grade within each block of 10 meters. Okay, and it gives us more details because some of the details that will be missing within the resource model, we can actually find them in the grade control model because we have increased the details in the details. We have increased the details that will be required within the grade control model. Now, after all this has been done, what we do next is a feasibility study. With a feasibility study, we look at the economical aspect of the model we have generated. You know, the model helps us to know the grade of each block within the block model. Okay, so when we get to know the grade, we also know we'll get to know the amount or the tonnage of material within the block model. Okay, and it can also help us to know the amount of mineralization within the block model. So when we get to know the grade and the amount of mineralization within the block model, we can predict the amount of the economical value of the block model. You get it? So when we are able to predict the economical value of the block model, we can now be able to make a budget of all our expenses. How much do we need to mine such a block model, such a model? So when we get to know all the expenses and the costs involved in mining a block from the block model, you'll be able to know what will be our expenses and what will be our revenue. Okay, so when you deduct your expenses from the revenue, the remaining will be your profit. There will be some instance whereby after deducting your expenses from the revenue, you end up running at a loss. You get negative. That means that although we have done the block model, it doesn't give us an advantage, because at the end of the day, we proceed to mine this this project, we will run at a loss. So it is not economically viable. And there are instances whereby, after deducting the expenses from the revenue, you run even. That means that you not have anything remaining. So the project will be an evenly project. That means that you didn't run at a loss and you didn't gain any profit. But in the instances whereby, after deducting the expenses from the revenue, you still have some profit, it tells us that this project is economically viable and we can go ahead and mine the ore body, because currently, with the economic parameters all involved, it tells us that when we engage in this project, we will make some profit from it. Okay, so we do some feasibility study about the block model that we had, then the information we have, it will tell us either to abort the project or to go ahead with the project. Now, let's look at our resource modeling. Resource modeling. Resource modeling is an essential process in exploration diamond drilling, which involves drilling through the Earth's surface to collect samples of rock and mineral formations to determine the presence and quantity of natural resources such as minerals, metals, and hydrocarbons. So with a resource modeling, it involves drilling into the earth crust from the surface into the subsurface to obtain samples of rock and mineral formations to determine the presence and quantity of natural resources. So these natural resources are what we say they are the minerals of economic value. So the minerals of interest. Okay. So in the mining industry, we are dealing with minerals. In the oil and gas industry, we are dealing with hydrocarbons. Okay. So resource modeling involves creating a geological model that estimates the size, shape, and quality of the resource deposit based on the data collected from the diamond drilling. So resource model involves recreating a geological model to mimic how the subsurface look like. So we will look at the size, the shape, and also the quality of the minerals within the rock formation we are dealing with. We want to know the grade and the mineralization of the rock or the ore we are dealing with, the ore body. Okay, so we engage in exploration drilling to obtain samples. Then these samples are analyzed or investigated in the lab to obtain certain information about the rock ore body or the ore body we are dealing with. With the information we obtain from the lab, we will base on that information to now develop or create a geological model that will estimate the shape, the size, and the quality. The quality here is the grade of the minerals that are embedded within the ore. Okay, so that is the quality, and also the quantity, the amount of minerals within the ore. We can use the information obtained from the samples to be able to estimate this about the ore body. Okay, so this is what the resource model is all about. Now, the following are some of the key steps involved in resource modeling for exploration diamond drilling. Sampling. First one is sampling. The first step in resource modeling is to collect representative samples of the rock and mineral formations from the diamond drilling. Okay, so let's say this is the surface, and this is the area we are targeting. So this is our target area. Okay, then we will take samples at various intervals. Let's say we are using intervals of 10 meters from this point 1, point 2. So the intervals within them is 10 meters. Point 3, point 4. These points represent the drill holes. Okay. So like this is a sectional view of the drill hole. Now, when we take samples at point 1, this point 1, we want the samples to be a clear representative of the area. Like, we don't want it to mess up. Whenever it messes up, we say it has been contaminated, because we don't want the sample here at this depth to mess with the sample at this depth. When something like that happens, it means it has been contaminated. It is not serving as a true representative of the samples taken. Okay, so that is why core sampling is is highly considered with respect of among other samples, because the core samples are obtained in solids, cylindrical solids, so it is not messing up. But other samples, especially samples obtained from the RC, sometimes if you don't take care, you end up contaminating it, especially when you are using air, compressed air as your medium. Okay. So the samples are analyzed in the lab to determine the composition of the rock and identify any mineral or metal present. So we first of all deal with the sample. Now we deal with the second one is the data collection. Collect data on the drilling parameters such as depth, angle, and direction, as well as the geophysical data from the surrounding area, including topography, gravity, and magnetic data. So these data about the drilling parameters are also very important, which must be taken. So the depth of every drill hole must be known, and also the direction of the drill hole is very, very important. Okay, so we need to know which direction is taken. And also the next one is geologic interpretation. With the information and the data collected, how do we then interpret it for better understanding? So interpret the geological data collected from the drilling and other sources to create a geological model